Okay, alternate approaches. This is my department. I think we can kayak farther north.
No. I think we should kayak farther north.
She literally just said that. Stop mansplaining.
Oh, well, good idea, Anna.
So, what is mansplaining? Well, if you're a woman watching this video, please be quiet so I can tell you.
I have a confession to make. I've been recently diagnosed with a critical yet common condition among men known as mansplaining. What is mansplaining? Well, it's a condition that affects many men who believe that it is our natural born right to talk over, interrupt, and especially explain things to women on topics that affect women, are predominantly about women, and that they're probably experts on in the first place.
So to touch on what that tool just said, mansplaining is the made-up feminist word that is used to describe the act of a man talking over a woman in a rude manner in a way that implies he knows more than she does.
Do you think mansplaining is a real thing?
Mansplaining?
Man what?
Planning?
Like explaining manhood? Or manscaping? Or what is that?
Oh, you're talking about men wanting or liking to explain everything like that.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I knew what mansplaining was, and I was pretty certain they knew it too.
In the narrative of feminists, all white males seem to have this overpowering, toxic masculinity to shut out women's opinions. I guess this was made a thing since the opposite scenario is called nagging.
Do you ever interrupt people when they're trying to tell an anecdote or something like that?
Not at all.
You never interrupt people?
No. I don't do that myself, so I haven't seen that in my workplace at all.
Oh.
So.
Well, I don't ever do that. I've learned to keep quiet, so my opinions stay here and don't reach this part.
I've given up, so I'm just along for the ride nowadays.
In my family, most of the time, my dad maybe interrupts me and says, "No, this is not right," and I'm like, "It is." This is like a man thing you have in your head.
Parenting and being a dad to your daughter is now considered mansplaining, it seems.
It made me wonder, what was this man thing inside their heads? I wanted to crack one open like an egg, but my producer, who is a man, told me no.
The good news here is that the average functioning person doesn't use this word or really know what it means because they have a normal functioning relationship and conversations, unlike feminists who like to pretend mansplaining is why a man would never want them.
You've restarted, let me just stop you so you don't waste a line of questioning. I'm just giving you...
I love the mansplaining. I'm enjoying it.
You're loving what?
The mansplaining that's going on.
Well,
just talking me through how by not answering the question, by repeating processes which are not related to the question that I've asked.
What's mansplaining, Senator?
Well, it's the slightly patronising and condescending way that you're responding to my questions.
Well, I would suggest, Senator, that if you're putting the word man in front of some description of what I'm doing, you're doing that which I'm sure you're very much against, is making a sexist implication about how I'm conducting my role as a man.
Well, then the easiest way to do it...
Is that what you're saying, Senator?
Well, what I'm saying is that the way you've been responding to me has been patronising and condescending, and I have responded to that. So the easiest way to deal with this is not to have that way in responding to the questions I've asked.
Imagine the reaction, Senator, if I said you were womansplaining. You're saying that I'm mansplaining.
Well, it is a term that's used.
Is it by whom?
Well, it is a term that's used.
By rude.
Doesn't make
by
any
rude
sense.
senators.
So it sounds like you can just claim you're being mansplained to, and that wins the argument for you. This term is just another example of the victim culture that liberals have enacted. But don't take my word for it. Give a listen to this beta male.
Think about a toddler that is crying and eventually gets what he or she wants. If this behavior is always rewarded, well, now the toddler knows and is conditioned to cry whenever he or she wants something.
So probably the easiest way to deal with mansplaining is to get really pissed off about it. It's not necessarily the most productive way. There's a slightly better way to deal with it. You can just ignore it, which is probably what I end up doing most of the time, because let's all be honest, if you're being mansplained to by your boss, there's really not a whole lot you can do in the moment to deal with it. So you just kind of have to grit your teeth and bear it, which is definitely not my favorite option. Sometimes I'll turn it around on them and ask them really, really obvious questions so that they realize they're doing it. They kind of hate me because obviously anytime a woman does anything bad, she's a bitch. But hey, it's also kind of satisfying. So what you're telling me is if I don't water my plants, they'll die?
Using their own logic, I guess every time I talk to black people to make my point, I'm white-splaining. Gay-splaining is when a sassy gay guy talks over a straight one. And the next time I'm at work, I'm gonna tell my manager to stop boss-splaining to me. That'll teach him. Thanks, feminists.